Glad to see you're back for more on navigating real estate offers without the help of an agent. In today's episode, we're unraveling the mystery of contingencies and conditions. Understanding these elements is crucial for making an informed decision in choosing an offer. So get a fresh page in that notebook ready and let's dive in. First off, what are contingencies? In the simplest terms, these are conditions that must be met in order for the sale to proceed. Common ones include buyer's financing, appraisal, and inspection contingencies. Now, let's break the most common ones down a bit further so you know exactly what you're looking at. When it comes to buyer's financing, the contingencies of their financing can differ depending on the type of loan they're qualified for and intend to use for their purchase. This is one of the reasons it's so important to confirm that the buyer is pre-approved and not just pre-qualified. Now, some mortgage lenders will issue a pre-qualification after nothing more than a phone conversation with a buyer based off of what the buyer simply tells them. They haven't actually verified anything, so the reality is a buyer with a pre-qualification might be able to buy your house. And that's a serious risk to take with what it's going to take them to actually get pre-approved for a mortgage. The pre-approval from a reputable lender is a strong bet that the buyer will be able to actually make it to the closing table. Just be sure to do your research on any additional contingencies the buyer's type of loan might require. For example, if it's an FHA or a VA loan. As for inspections, the recent market climate of limited inventory and increased buyer demand over the past few years made it much more commonplace for buyers to waive their home inspections. More recently, though, we're starting to see them become commonplace again. Be sure you understand what types of inspections the buyer is asking to complete, what your obligations will be, if any, and if the buyer will have the opportunity to negotiate or possibly request a release based on any findings. Escalation addendums really came into prevalence during the insanity of the pandemic, when many accurately priced homes were seeing 10 to 20 plus offers. This tool allows a buyer to set a starting offer price that incrementally increases above their competition by a designated dollar amount up to a maximum dollar. Side note, as escalation addendums climb higher and higher and higher above a property's list price, appraisal gap contingencies become a more and more important consideration. Home sale contingencies require very detailed consideration because you're banking on your buyer being able to successfully sell their current home in order to be able to buy yours, which is adding another buyer, their agent, and your buyer's listing agent to your equation in essence, all of which you have zero control over. So be super diligent and proceed with caution in these considerations. Now, why do contingencies and considerations matter? When looking at the broad picture and everything you have to choose from, they can significantly impact the overall attractiveness of an offer. Fewer contingencies might make an offer more appealing, but it's crucial to weigh the risks and benefits of each individually. It's also important to understand what each buyer is offering and that you have the ability to ask for changes if you'd like. Negotiating contingencies is an art. As a seller, you have the power to discuss and adjust these conditions to align with your needs if the buyer is agreeable. It's all about finding that sweet spot that satisfies both parties. Think of it like a puzzle. Negotiating contingencies is about finding the piece that fits seamlessly into your selling plan. Each adjustment brings you closer to a deal that works for everyone. Sometimes you might encounter unusual conditions. It could be a specific request or a unique circumstance. Don't be afraid to address these with the buyer and their agent. Open communication is key to finding common ground. In the final episode of this segment, we'll discuss proper communication with buyers and their agents and negotiating contingencies to find the best deal for you as the seller. Be sure to like and share, and see you for episode 4.